Hey guys, welcome to Motoroids. My name is Amit and this is the SXR 125. Now when the bigger brother of this scooter, the SXR 160 was launched, I did a very detailed review of that scooter covering every single minutest detail that you would have probably wanted to know about. So if you want to know everything about this scooter, I would recommend that you click on the link above because I have covered every single detail there. In this review, I am going to talk about primarily the changes that have happened here, cosmetic or otherwise, and what effect those changes have had over this scooter. Now before we get started, you should know that this scooter is not meant for everyone. This is a very premium scooter and the price differential between something like say the TVS Ntorq and the SXR 160 when it was launched was about 40,000 rupees, which is a huge sum for someone who's looking for value in this market. So this scooter is meant for people who want a certain image and don't mind spending that extra money for it. This is by far the best looking scooter available in the Indian market. It's a maxi scooter, and while there is the Suzuki Bergman Street as well, that scooter is also very well finished, has a very high quality, but that scooter isn't as well proportioned or as sexy looking as this scooter right here. So let's talk about the differences between the SXR 160 and the SXR 125, and as the name suggests, the engine here is a 125cc or a 124.5cc air-cooled engine as opposed to the 160cc engine that you had in the 160, the SXR 160. And obviously the power has reduced here, the torque has reduced here. So while you had 10.9 PS on the SXR 160, here you have 9.52 PS of peak power, and apart from those absolute power numbers, the difference is also in the peak RPMs at which those power numbers are achieved. So while the SXR 160 achieves its peak power at 7,100 RPM, this scooter revs 500 RPM higher and produces its peak power at 7,600 RPM. The torque here has also reduced, as you would imagine, and as opposed to the 11 Newton meters of torque on the SXR 160, the torque here is 9.2 Newton meters, which is lesser by 1.8 Newton meters. The power is less by 1.38 PS. The torque is also produced 500 RPM higher, so it's now produced at 6,250 RPM as opposed to 5,750 RPM on the SXR 160. So those are the numbers. Apart from that, another big change that you'll see is that while the disc is still here, you don't have an ABS, and since this is a 125cc scooter, this doesn't require ABS system by regulation, and so it has been replaced by a CBS system or a combined braking system now. The front disc is 220 mm as before, and at the rear you have a 140 mm drum. Apart from that, the entire platform is the same. There is absolutely no change. It has exactly the same chassis, the same engine platform also, so there isn't really a reduction in the weight also as told to us by Aprilia. And the fork size, the tire size, the wheels, the overall design, the colors in which this scooter is available in, all of that is exactly the same. Now before I talk about the difference that you'd feel while you're riding this scooter, let's talk about a few key things that you probably would be interested in. The tires up front and at the rear are 120 section MRF zappers. There are 12-inch wheels which are very beautiful. You have that red highlight along with grey alloys. These headlights are absolutely beautiful. They are the best quality headlights in this segment. You have this high fly screen. Along with that, you have a very comprehensive instrument console. Although this does not have a Bluetooth option, this comes with a fuel efficiency number and distance to drive, which is great. It's quite legible, and we just hope that Aprilia brings Bluetooth connectivity to this instrument console as well. The mirrors are reasonably wide. They probably could have been wider. They are okay. This mode button here allows you to cycle through the various readouts, including the battery voltage readout on the instrument console. It also lets you know the ambient temperature. You have the electric starter button here. The switch gear on the left hand side has high and low beam, with the day flasher as the same as the low beam. You just have to press it like this for using the flasher. Turn indicators and horn, you don't have a hazard light switch here. I really think that the switch gear quality could probably have been a little better. The plastic quality in general could have been slightly better for a premium product like this. Another important aspect that you probably would be interested in is the under seat storage, and it's about 20 liters of under seat storage. Doesn't store a full sized full face helmet. You have illumination here, and the fuel lid cap is a threaded type. The seat is very well designed, it's very well cushioned, and you also get this lockable lid here, where you have this space here where you can put your cell phone, wallet, or a small bottle, and there is this space for a cell phone here with a USB socket as well. This lid here is not flimsy at all, it's pretty good. The seat height is at 770 mm, and even the shorter riders amongst you, 5 feet 2 inch or 5 feet 3 inch, would be able to sit comfortably here. Footboard has about sufficient space. It's not as generous as, say, the Access 125. I would have really appreciated had there been a little bit more space here, but this is just about sufficient, and even the taller ones amongst you would not have a problem with your legs fouling with the handlebar while you're turning it. The seat here is done in 2 textures, and it has this contrasting red and grey stitching on the central part. The foot pegs are of a very high quality, and the grab rail is very functional too. This scooter shares its wheelbase with the SR 160 and the SR 125, and the length on those scooters is slightly more than this, but this scooter generally is one of the largest scooters available. I'll fire up the exhaust as well so that you can figure if there is any difference in terms of the exhaust note as compared to the SXR 160. All LED tail lamps which wrap the rear and look rather classy. They are the best looking LED tail lamps in business. The blinkers are also LED, which is a great feature to have, and it's LED up front and at the rear as well. So overall a great looking machine, fantastically finished, and except for the switch gear, which probably could have been of a better quality, the quality everywhere is absolutely smashing. From a utilitarian perspective, you have one hook here, although you don't have a hook that you generally get on this side. The ground clearance is 160 mm. Now talking about performance, there obviously has been a reduction in power, so it would reflect in the acceleration and the top speed as well. And since the 160 had substantially more power than the rest of the 125cc segment scooters, you could feel that it had a performance edge over your run-of-the-mill 125cc scooters, but not so much here, because if you compare it with some of the high-performance 125cc scooters like, say, the TVS NTORQ, the difference in power is almost negligible. This produces only 0.14 PS more than the NTORQ and is 11 kgs heavier than the NTORQ. So the NTORQ, with its lighter weight, can not just match this scooter but can also outrun this. And specifically speaking, in terms of the top speed, the NTORQ has a higher top speed. The difference in the weight is 11 kgs in the case of the NTORQ. Also, if you compare it with some other scooters in the segment like the XS, now the power there may be even less. That scooter has 8.7 PS of peak power, but the weight there is only 103 kgs, which is a whopping 26 kgs less than this scooter. So the weight of this scooter, by virtue of the fact that it's built very solid, this probably has the best chassis suspension setup in this entire segment, but that weight shows, and with the 125cc engine powering it, the performance is not as brisk as we felt on the 160cc. So while the 160cc SXR was able to touch 100 kilometers per hour on the speedo, this scooter struggles at about 95-96 kilometers per hour, and that difference is visible not just in the absolute top speed but in the manner in which this scooter also reaches there. There is a perceptible difference in terms of the way this scooter accelerates, and if you compare it with the other scooters in this segment, they come not just pretty close but also on occasion would outrun this in terms of acceleration and top speed. But on the bright side, with the reduced cubic capacity, the fuel efficiency has gone up marginally, and while the 160 would give you 30 kilometers to the liter on the lower side and 40 kilometers per liter on the higher side, this scooter would give you 35 to 45 kilometers per liter on the lower and the higher side. So the average fuel efficiency on this one would be about 40 kmpl, which is still lesser than the other scooters in the segment. Like for example, if you look at the XS, the fuel efficiency is brilliant. The Ntorq fuel efficiency is also on the lower side, but it's still slightly better than this scooter. So in terms of fuel efficiency in the 125cc segment, this scooter is better than the 160 SXR, but still is probably on the lowest side as compared to the other competitors in the 125cc segment. The dynamic ability of this scooter is as splendid as it was before. The braking sharpness, which absolutely amazed us with the SXR 160, has come down a little bit. The CBS system does not feel as sharp, obviously, because it brakes both the wheels, and for someone who's an enthusiast and wants to put all the pressure on the front wheel, it is sometimes a little bit more exciting. But having said that, the braking here is still more than adequate, and it's still one of the best braking systems in the segment. And overall, in terms of handling and braking, this scooter aces everything else in the 125cc category. Now coming to the price has been reduced by 9,000 rupees, and this scooter retails at 1,16,000 rupees ex showroom, as opposed to the 1,25,000 rupees price tag on the SXR 160. And as I mentioned, it's a difference of 9,000 rupees, but it still is a huge difference as compared to the other 125cc scooters. And if you compare it with the Ntorq retails at 81,000 rupees for its top variant, which is still a difference of 35,000 rupees. And even if you compare it with the Bergman, which retails at 86,000 rupees, this scooter will cost you 30,000 rupees extra. Sure, you'll get these beautiful looks, an Italian brand, and great performance and handling, but it will obviously come at a heavy price. As I mentioned before, this scooter is not meant for everyone, and if you want to maintain an image, an exclusive aura around your ride, then this scooter is for you. It's built fantastically well. It's reasonably comfortable also. It's not uncomfortable at all. It's got a great seat. It's got a reasonably compliant suspension, and it can be used on a day-to-day basis. And if you want a scooter that makes you look good, then probably the SXR 125cc is a great choice for you. However, if you want a proper differentiation, I would still suggest that you go with the SXR 160, because there you have some edge over the run-of-the-mill 125cc scooters in terms of performance, and that differentiation is a little bit more pronounced there as compared to here. And the price difference of 9,000 rupees for someone who's buying in that category is not all that much, in my humble opinion. I really hope that this video was of some use to you. If you liked it, hit that like button, subscribe to Motoroids. Always put Motoroids in your searches for our long, in-depth videos. And until next time, this is Amit Changhani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and ride safe.